Okay, hello everybody, and welcome back to episode 3 of the Sean Lowery Show. So the reviews are in for episode 2, the consensus is in, and it's critically acclaimed, the stinkiest piece of garbage ever uploaded to iTunes. No, I'm just kidding, but the podcast is on iTunes, and it's now in the podcast app if you want to check it out. All right, so episode 3, I'm going with a new style here, but it's still one topic, and the topic is 5 business lessons told through rap lyrics. So I love rap. It's by far my favorite kind of music. And I was thinking to myself, why is it my favorite kind of music? Well, one reason that I know for sure is that I just like words and I like thinking fast. I do think fast. Sometimes my brain moves a little bit faster than my mouth. I've been known to be a fast talker. That's something I'm working on. My brain goes fast. And that's one reason why I think that rap really appeals to me. I love the beats. I love how there's no instruments and it's mostly all electric. And I love when the beats drop and like it just kind of hits you. But mostly, the reason I decided that rap is my favorite is because it's so ridiculously cocky. Rappers get to be so cocky for some reason. They say the silliest shit ever in the most serious tone. I love it. It's so funny. It's so funny to me. It's all about how great they are. And I love that element of rap. All they talk about is how great they are, how amazing they are, how much money they have, how much girls they get. And it's just so funny to me. And I love that confidence. It's one of my favorite things. So that's why I like rap. And, it's okay to be confident in yourself. You have to live with yourself every day, so you might as well think you're the greatest. It makes life a little more fun. All right, so all these lyrics were hard to choose. So here's what I did. I listened to every single hip-hop song ever recorded. No, I didn't do that. Actually, I don't listen to a lot of music on a regular basis. I made a promise to myself about 5-6 years ago that I would always listen to business content, like when I'm in the car or when I'm printing shirts or shipping shirts, which I've had to do a lot over the past 4 or 5 years, and that's a great time to consume stuff. I told myself I'm always going to listen to business content or something educational or something stimulating, something that makes me smarter. Because music, you kind of listen on and turn the brain off. And when your brain's off, you're not getting smarter. So I decided to use all that downtime where a lot of people listen to music to listen to something more educational. And so I've kind of considered listening to music a waste of time, but I still love it. And honestly, I think that's why I started doing this podcast, because I've listened to so much talk about business and life and so many topics over the past 4 or 5 years. I'm running out of things to hear and learn. So I think that might be one of the reasons why I started this podcast. There's just no more information for me to absorb. So I've absorbed it all, and I filtered it through my Sean Lowery brain, my filter, and I think that's one of the reasons I started doing this. But that being said about music, I do still like to stay up to date on the newest music, the newest artists. What I'll do is I frequently check YouTube, and I just look at the trending music, and I force myself to listen. And then I know kind of what's new. There was this Korean pop band, BTS, that was pretty popular, and their songs were trending a couple months ago. And I forced myself to listen to them. I don't know Korean, but if I want to live to be 150, which that's the plan, and I'm saying it out loud again, you can't get stuck in your ways. So I like to always be paying attention to what's new. And if I see an artist that just put out a new album, I'll listen to that. So I stay up to date on music. But I'm a big fan of rap. So really what I did here is I just picked 5 topics that I wanted to discuss. And then I kind of thought of rap lines that related to them that I knew. And so my friends who are hip-hop experts or whatever, they make fun of my taste. I kind of like the mainstream rappers. I just love Kanye, Lil Wayne, Drake, Nicki Minaj. I just think they're the best. I like mainstream rappers. I don't consider myself an extensive hip-hop nerd. I just kind of like what's popular, but also have some of my own favorite things. All right, so most of these lines are from people in my realm. All right, so let's dive in. All right, so the first lesson is what I consider to be a superpower that I have. And it's the ability not to worry. I think worrying is one of the most pointless things. If you can't control it, don't worry about it. If you can control it, do something about it. It's that simple. And I would think this would be simple, but I see so many people waste so much valuable brain energy worrying about something. And that's time that you could be doing something productive with your mind. And if you can't control it anyway, there's no value in worrying. So I've gotten pretty good at not worrying. I don't know if it's nature or nurture, but I consider that a superpower. So here's one of my favorite rappers of all time, the great Kanye West.
I'm living in the future, so the present is my past. My presence is a present, kiss my ass.
Yeah, living in the future. I love that. That's where to live. Any bad feeling you have about the past, it's a waste of your energy. Don't even think about it. If I tweet something stupid, the next day I just practice saying whatever, I don't care, it's out there, and just move forward. And it's a great skill to have. It's just a great way to be. And that's number one. So that leads me into number two. And I consider this a superpower as well. And it's the ability to be able to criticize and mock yourself. So look at yourself from different angles and judge yourself. That's how I do it. I look at what maybe my friends or family think, or what people who don't know me think, or what other people will think. And I look at that and I judge myself. I'll compliment myself if I deserve one. I'll laugh at myself if I deserve to be laughed at. I will criticize myself and find errors, and I don't care. The next thing I do with that judgment is I throw it away. So I know the information, and then I judge myself, but then I throw away the judgment, and it's an amazing feeling. So being able to mock and criticize yourself. So here's Kanye.
But hey, admitting is the first step. You know, ain't nobody perfect.
Yeah, admitting is the first step. So I've been talking about the failures I went through in business last year, and honestly, it feels amazing to just be honest with yourself and laugh at yourself and be able to criticize and mock yourself. It's a great feeling. And I've been talking about my failures on the last podcast, and I'm telling you, it feels great. All right, so here's Eminem.
Let's be honest, at last we last CD was aired.
All right, so yeah, this was his most popular song from his new album at the time. And he's saying right away that my last Relapse CD was Relapse was the name of his last CD. So he's basically saying, my last CD sucked. My last CD sucked. And he says that in his hit song that came out next. I love that. Eminem's great at this. He always makes fun of himself, and he always makes a comeback. He just did a couple months ago that weird BET freestyle where he was in a garage with no music and he got really political. I thought he looked really dumb after that. And then not too long later, he had a new album. He made fun of himself for that, and he's a hit again. Eminem's greatest at making fun of himself, and notice how he always makes a comeback, and notice how he's been around for a long time. He's great at making fun of himself. All right, here's Lil Wayne with a great line.
Didn't wear bulletproof, so I got shot and you can see the proof. Blind eyes can look at me and see the truth. Wonder if Stevie do.
Here, Lil Wayne says, I didn't wear bulletproof, so I got shot and you can see the proof. Blind eyes could look at me and see the truth. This is wearing your failures as a badge of honor. He says, I got shot and you can see the proof. So I think this is a good point right here. They say that chicks dig battle scars. Chicks dig the battle scars, you know? It's a way to like look like a tough guy if you have like a big scar on your arm or something like that. That's a concept that makes sense, right? I think wearing your failures and your weaknesses on your sleeve is the same thing. Battle scars are cool. And that's what Lil Wayne talks about in this line. He says, I got shot and you can see the proof. Now blind eyes could look at me and see the truth. So he knows, just look at me. And there's nothing that you don't know that I don't know. And he's bragging about it. He's bragging that he got shot. I'm bragging about my failures. I think that you should be able to get past your failures quickly. And once you do, and they're in the past, which is something that you should be able to do immediately, then you should bring them back up every once in a while and brag about it. Don't hide them down. It reminds your brain how resilient you are. Always be the first to criticize yourself. Be the first to admit your own failures and be honest and proud about them before anyone else ever gets a chance. So by the time other people criticize you, you've already thought it through, criticized yourself, and now you can just laugh along with them when they criticize you, and you don't have to waste energy being down on yourself. So that's a great one. All right, number 3, and I'll most definitely do a full episode on this one. And I think it's something important for entrepreneurs, and it's not talked about enough. It's the importance of focusing on one thing. Focusing on one industry. So this is kind of a complex concept, but it combines the importance of knowing your business model and being self-aware enough to know when to make a change. All right, here's Drake.
Pick a lane, that's all I ever heard. But I'm just trying to swerve without hitting the curb.
All right, so here, Drake is talking about how people are saying to him, hey, are you a rapper? Are you a singer? Are you an actor? Are you an entertainer? They're saying to him, hey, pick a lane, man. But he's versatile, and he's good enough to swerve back and forth between these things. But they're all on the same highway. They're all entertainment, and they're all the Drake brand, and he's building off them. And he's still Drake, and no matter what he does, he's building off of that brand, and they're all helping each other because they're all on the highway of entertainment. So he says he's trying not to hit the curb. So hitting the curb would be if one of these things ruined him. if he gets out of the entertainment or he ruins the Drake brand, that's when he hits the curb. So he's into entertainment and he's staying there. And in a nutshell, it's okay to swerve, but if you're going to build a company, stay in the same industry. Don't switch completely. Build off your knowledge and focus on one industry. So I've gone through a lot of changes in my business career. They used to call me T-shirt boy. So I went from T-shirt boy to building a multi-million-dollar e-commerce clothing company. And there was many changes along the way, but it was all with clothing. And I built off each thing that I did. And that's important. So keep the same energy as an entrepreneur and focus on one industry. The less change, the better. Make your decisions quickly, but change them slowly. Focus on one industry. All right, so number 4 is a persuasion tactic used so well in politics and sometimes business. One of my favorite people, his name's Scott Adams. He does Periscopes, and he's an expert in persuasion. And he calls it thinking past the sale. But it's basically trying to get your business or your brand associated with the best in the industry. All right, so here's a line from Eminem in his early days. So just by saying that, people start to debate. Is he really number 4 or number 5, like he said? No, is he number 1? No, does he not even deserve to be there? So that's the conversation that you want the market to have. Before, he wasn't in the top tier of rappers. Then he did that line and he put himself into the debate. The conversation went from no mention to is he number 5? Is he number 2? And boom, that's thinking past the sale. So the slogan that I use for my best brand, United Monograms, our main company, is the #1 online shop for monograms. I love that slogan. First of all, it has shop for monograms at the end, so it's kind of like a subliminal message. But the #1 online shop for monograms. So far, nobody has called us out on that. I'm waiting for somebody to debate it and say that they're number 1. We have some really good competitors out there, and I want someone to say we're not number 1, and then I want to have the market debate. And that's exactly what you want. Are you number 1? Are you number 2? Are you number 3? I was just on a podcast called The Late Night Sessions with Sam Coleman Dancer and Brandon Johns, these 2 guys I got hooked up with. And I really appreciate them having me a guest on the podcast. And they made a comparison to me on there between me and Gary Vaynerchuk. He's kind of a top tier business guy, so that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. So it's a persuasion tactic that you can use in branding. Find a creative way to put your brand next to the best brands in the industry, and then they'll associate you with the best. And that's exactly what Eminem did in that line. He put himself in a line with all the other best people and started the debate. And that is a way to elevate your name. All right, so the last one, number 5. This one is very simple. It's just loving your fans and loving your customers. So this goes for any business. Letting your customers know that you appreciate them is very important. It sounds simple, and it can be easy to forget, especially with a business like mine, where we have technically over 100,000 customers. We've had 100,000 people place an order on our website in the past 3 or 4 years. And if they place one order, they're considered a customer. So it's hard to show appreciation to that many people. So it's something you have to think about. All right, so here's Jay-Z. He gets it. Here's a line from him.
Ho! Thanks for coming out tonight. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that.
All right, so yeah, it's a simple thing, but showing appreciation really is a staple in business. You know, he might have been saying this at a concert, but then he put it on the album, and then everyone hears the message and understands that Jay-Z appreciates them, and this was a hit song, so now they love him for that. So we have thank you messages in all of our communication with our customers, our order sheets, our tracking emails. We comment on every single Instagram post that our customers post wearing our stuff, and we'll put some emojis or just a little message on there saying you look great wearing this, and that's a great way to do it. One thing that I'm really proud of is I put a system into place where every week we systematically send a gift to one of our top customers. The first week we send it to our best customer, and then the next week to our next best customer, and now we're down to sending it to customers with about 12 or 13 orders. But we do it every week, and sometimes they don't even respond. Sometimes they're so appreciative, but we send them an out-of-the-blue, unexpected free gift, and we steal their attention away from them when they get that, and we put our brand in their mind. And by showing them appreciation, they're now going to love the company even more. And these are people who already have been placing orders and are comfortable with placing orders. Now we're going to get them to place even more orders and hopefully spread the word about our brand. So it's important to be nice and appreciative, but it's not even really about being nice. It's about money. It's about business. And if you have people that you show appreciation to, they'll spend more money with you. And that's ultimately what it's about, right? In business is getting as much money as possible and spreading your brand or your product to as many people as possible. So it's a great tactic. All right, so speaking of money, I just wanted to include one of my favorite rap lyrics of all time. It's not really about any of these business messages, but it has money in it, and it's just a hilarious line that I love. Here it is.
And you can suck my wings, stand on my money head, but Yao Ming.
What? Like, I don't know. I just imagine Lil Wayne standing on a pile of money, headbutting Yao Ming. And who uses the word ween? I don't know. It's hilarious. All right, but that's it. Those are 5 business lessons told through rap lyrics. And a recap of the lessons are: 1, the superpower of not worrying and always looking forward and focusing your brain on things that you can control and positive things and not having the stress from worrying. Boom. Number 1, the superpower of not worrying. Number 2 is the ability to criticize yourself before anybody else. By the time people start criticizing you, you've already done it and you can laugh along with them. Therefore, you spend no time being down. Number 3, focusing on one industry as an entrepreneur. Just be the best at one thing. And when you have to adapt, do it slowly and build upon your energy. So focus on one industry in your career as an entrepreneur to get the best results. Number 4, putting your brand name next to the best brand names in the industry. Therefore, having people debate about, are you the best or are you not the best, and being in that conversation. It's a great persuasion tool. And number 5 is appreciating your customers, showing them love. And I show you guys the love. I appreciate you listening so much. I'm having a lot of fun doing this. I hope you enjoy it, and peace and love. Hey, so I mentioned it in the podcast, but I was recently on another podcast called The Late Night Sessions, and I just wanted you guys to give them a look. I wanted to give a little shout out to them. I was a guest on their show. I had a great time. Here's a little intro to their podcast when they introduced me. So I wanted to play it for you. And if you get a chance, subscribe to their podcast as well. Here it is.
So what's an interesting fact that maybe not even some of your closest friends know?
All right. Well, I haven't been sick in 17 years. I don't know.
What though?
Welcome to another episode of the Late Night Sessions podcast. Today we had Sean Lowery, somebody who was super energetic, and he just brought a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, Sean literally dove into some crazy thoughts, some crazy comparisons with him and Gary Vee. You just really got to listen to this podcast. It's full of energy. It's extremely entertaining. He gives his business advice. He's been done over 10 million in sales. So, I mean, it's really a huge podcast for Sean as it's his first podcast. But, I mean, it's entertaining. I mean, that's all I got to say.
The guy definitely has, if I'm really telling you the truth right now, Sean and me watching Gary Vee's 30-year-old videos or 34-year-old videos, I can see the same energy. I can literally see Sean sitting in front of a camera and doing the same thing.
I thought it was Gary Vee, like, flipping in and out.
Yeah,
Like,
the guy has knowledge. He has energy. He knows what he's talking about. He's built a $5 million business. And he's just been hustling. Like, he moved away from his hometown.
Some crazy moves. You don't make this stuff
people
up.
don't do this stuff.
No.
I think you need to listen to this podcast, and I know that you're going to enjoy it.
All right, so I love that. Check them out. And if you want, follow me, Sean Lowery 20, Instagram, Sean Lowery 20, Twitter. Subscribe on iTunes, YouTube. Appreciate it.